Welcome back to the LCS Championship Finals delivered by Grubhub. Hello, Chicago. Once again, how you doing?
Man, the crowd in here today has been so good. Flowers with the Jinx skin. I am jealous.
It's been awesome. He's getting to shoot at people. He's got aim about as good as the Jinx in my solo queue game. Spoilers, that's me. Overall, wonderful. I'm glad he's got the Flower Blazer as well. I mean, I feel like he steals the show automatically. Yeah, help him out, Jackie. Thank you. You gotta aim up. Don't aim at the people right in front of you. That's a health hazard. There we go.
Don't shoot the cameraman, Flowers. Watch where you point that thing.
Yeah. It's always loaded. Do not aim at something you're not willing to hit. Thank you very much. Good. First two rules. Well, it has been a lot of fun to be here. By the way, shout out everyone who is right over there. Y'all are wonderful. Yelling during the break. Thank you. Everyone here, though, has been awesome. Thank you so much for being part of this whole thing. It is fun to be here as well. And I've got some info to read as well, by the way. The LCS, of course, has invaded Chicago for our final celebration. And we are partnering with 3 local charities to help give back to our host city. Please help by donating to any of these amazing organizations, which in turn will earn you an exclusive prestige edition of the 2022 Summer LCS Trophy Icon. The Chicago Parks Foundation works to build stronger communities to support and conserve the city's parks. Youth Guidance creates school-based programs to enable children to overcome obstacles and focus on education and intentional sports is building professional level facilities for sports, education, and wellness to close the opportunity gap. And a special shout out to iPlayGames, helping to bring experiences to the live audiences here at FanFest. Donators will receive those icons the week after the finals. Thank you all for being part of this. Thank you everyone else who has helped make this show happen. And thank you to our teams for getting ready for game 2.
So excited to see what 100 Thieves have to unveil here in game number 2, because this whole playoffs has been about adaptation. We've had so many series go the full 5 games here, and Cloud9 coming out in game number 1 very quick with their win.
And it's incredibly important to bounce back here in game number 2. You don't want to be down 2-0 already. They are on blue side. They're going to have first pick, so interested to see where this draft will take us. With C9 on red, I'm already expecting that they're going to be trying to prioritize counter picks here for Fudge. That has been their bread and butter these last couple of weeks in playoffs.
And 100 Thieves clearly targeting Jensen here. The mid lane, they want to whittle down on this champion pool. LeBlanc goes back on the ban table here for them. Don't want him to get his hands on it. This does leave open a lot more on the bottom lane here, especially with the AD carries. No Yuumi or Lulu bans or anything like that, just the Kalista Senna. Senna is a permaban for Cloud9 versus 100 Thieves going back through their games. Do not like it when FBI gets his hands on that.
And 100 Thieves say, yes, indeed, it is Zeri. FBI was very good on the champion in the previous series. Clearly, the better late game carry up against Evil Geniuses, and now gets the priority pick of the Zeri, locks it in.
And I think it makes so much sense. I think you just have to deny from Berserker. He's looked too good on it. Yes, he's great on Sivir as well, but Zeri to me...
Yuumi getting booed by the crowd.
You know they're gonna lock it, just accept it.
Come on, it's my all-time favorite cat story.
Smile through the pain.
Yep. Zven need to hitch a ride on Berserker. Sivir has been so commonly the answer. When you see Yuumi grabbed, you're expecting to play something like that exactly. So we may see very many the same bans. They know they can take Sivir on 3 and go for priority in the jungle. Instead, Wukong comes through for Blaber.
And I already like Cloud9's answers into this area more than I like 100 Thieves last game. Wukong, you can't really avoid that ult. He's gonna eat you, he's gonna knock you up, and then they're gonna have the follow-up coming through afterwards. Wukong plus Yuumi as well. That buys time for the roots to land on Zeri and really lock her down.
Cloud9 or 100 Thieves have such an interesting choice here, though. They can either match with jungle and support or grab the mid lane early here with their 2 bans versus Jensen, with the LeBlanc, with the Azir. You know, you're leaving the priority of like Ahri and stuff really kind of dangling out in front. And so they lock in their support first. Is it going to be jungle here to grab your Trundle or your Poppy before second round of bans, or go for your solo lane?
This would actually be really interesting because it got banned out, in the second round last time around. Instead, it is going to be J4, so they are going jungle and they're going early action here. They want closer to have agency to affect these lanes.
And they're expecting the Sivir. That's what a Jarvan pick right here is saying. It's saying we're expecting the Sivir. Jarvan is the best jungler versus Sivir because the spell shield means almost nothing and the Cataclysm is so good versus that champion. So 100 Thieves are expecting the normal trade. Cloud9 are going to go right into it.
Yeah, they're down for it, but it is going to mean Berserker can't really deal with that all unless he has his flash, right? So can they actually get on him, lock him into that Cataclysm, try to have that follow-up to really punish him?
Gonna be what it comes down to as we have matched roles here, jungle and bot lane for both teams. Zeri may be the prize pick, but Cloud9 basically got first dibs almost everywhere else. And now we're gonna see what the second round looks like, because Cloud9 again get first dibs on a solo lane. We'll see what's gonna be for mid lane, for top lane. If they wanna give Fudge counter pick, he's gonna have it here.
Yeah, I would expect Jensen to be the solo laner for Cloud9 to have to do the blind pick and then let Fudge get his counter coming back. Fudge has just been so good with the counter picks. It's a huge part of why they're here, in the finals for this playoffs. And there's that Kennen ban that we were wondering about from last series, from first game as well. Looks like this is the ultimate counter.
And I wonder if they're going to ban Ornn here, because if you don't ban Ornn and you're not willing to take it on board, then I think Ssumday is going to be pretty happy to play Ornn into whatever. It feels too hard to actually punish, even in the quote-unquote counter matchups. So I do think this is a necessary ban if you're looking for counter pick on 5 for Fudge.
Whippo mentioned the Aatrox versus Renekton trade as well on the desk, and trying to get 100 Thieves a more aggressive top lane matchup there with a little bit more priority to start getting more control of those objectives. Curious to see if they do go that way, especially with that Ornn being banned, because that would be the fallback safety kind of net. He locks it!
Zilean has made it to the LCS Championship. Welcome, Jensen. Sylas gonna be the answer.
I love this here. Sylas, great answer. And the Fiora, he's just throwing down the gauntlet. He says, you're gonna counterpick me, I'm gonna counterpick you. Let's go.
Ssumday, Fiora thrown down blind, baby.
Man, I just love the Zilean, though. It's such a good answer because Jarvan is setting up for single target pick, right? You're ulting onto the Sivir. You're putting all your resources into bursting into the Sivir. Zilean says no to that. Ranged top laners are generally the answer if you want to go aggressive. Jax also can outscale the Fiora into the late game in the side lane, and he's going to throw it down. We've got a brawl in the top lane. Jax against Fiora here at LCS Finals, baby.
I love it. The skill matchup there. Let's see who's going to throw it down on the Rift. This is going to mean so much for the teams overall, too. Whichever one of these top laners can get that lead, side lane pushing is going to be tremendous advantage.
And so much of this matchup is actually the mind games around when do you parry as Fiora. Because Jax is going to pop the Counter-Strike, and you're trying to wait out the Fiora parry. If you parry too early, you can just allow it to continue going, then stun afterwards. You kind of have to guess when he's going to go for it. And if you win that guess, you can slam the all-in as a Fiora, but it's a very difficult mind game to play, and it is Jax's favorite, especially towards the later stages of the game.
And the biggest factor in that matchup is, of course, jungles. Ganking this matchup is insane. Ganking this matchup is
That's every top matchup.
It's so powerful.
Top is jungle diff, Kobe.
This is
Say it with me.
It's true. Jungle diff is top diff. Honestly, though, whichever one of these gets that jungle gank, it's such a volatile lane. You can snowball the melee matchup ahead really effectively here.
Well, Fiora versus Jax certainly headlining game 2. Is it gonna be 100 Thieves? Is it gonna be Cloud9? Let's find out. Welcome back to Summoner's Rift. Chicago is our home for the next few hours. Cloud9 might be sending 100 Thieves home early, a 28-minute victory, 1-0 so far.
I love it when we have games where each team gets one solo lane counter pick to see if they can actually play off it and leverage it here. The Sylas, which we're so focused on the top lane matchup, is such a good pick though into the Zilean. Of course, multiple ultimates here that you can choose to steal, but definitely a powerful one there for Abbedagge and Jensen. Already trying to work in, get that early vision, especially around mid lane.
Definitely interested to see as well that Fudge is going Resolve primary, so he is going for Grasp, but it is more about the early laning, less about the scaling than something like Lethal Tempo or Conqueror. So really trying to index towards a strong early lane here. And you do have a really powerful early lane, especially at level 1, with that Counter-Strike available. It can be very difficult for the Fiora to deal with, but Fiora can kind of poke and prod and just continuously queue forward, proc the gas, proc the vitals, and try to chip Jax down, because Jax doesn't really have much sustain at all in the early levels.
And an early thing should be on his mind is you're facing a Jarvan. Whenever any team is facing Jarvan, you have to keep in mind these level 2 ganks. those early timings, throwing off your assumptions for jungle pathing here. So both of them need to get some early protection out.
Interesting.
All of this early protection for Cloud9 used around the mid lane, though.
Berserker ghosted level 1 to take a heavier trade. Said FBI and huhi are far enough away. I'm going to just burn a summoner that I won't use in a gank. It's not going to matter otherwise. Like, whatever. I'm just going to get some damage done and try to wear you down. It's just a cold start, so low sustain for FBI.
I actually really like it. I think it's pretty smart here. You know, like as you say, if Jarvan comes down, your flash is going to save you. It's rarely going to be the ghost, so it's kind of a low cost there, and we'll see if that chunk he got is going to mean much, because now Potion is already down for FBI. Berserker's higher on health and still has his Potion remaining, so they can look for these aggressive moves.
Level 2 for both sides. You can see that huhi's getting chunked pretty dangerously low. FBI in the same boat. Even ignited as well. He's got no potions. Has a heal. Knows he can hold it. But yeah, aggressive use of 3 summoners early is going to force a dangerously early recall.
All right, how's the crowd feeling about the Battle Cat now? Has been on the front lines there. You'll love to see it. Getting aggressive with the summoner spells, as you mentioned, too. And this is going to be closer pathing back down towards the bottom side of the map. With those summoner spells being used more aggressively, does open up these jungle opportunities.
And there's that awkward early lane for Zilean kind of being showcased here. The wave pushing away from Jensen, and it was level 3 to level 2 there, so in a bit of a tough spot.
So we saw the top lane mind game for a second there. I want to talk about specifics, unless you see the jungles meet up. Give me a second. Closer and Blaber. No, okay. Jip for the night. He's getting the bottom crab. It's fine. So the mind game is interesting because... Oh, no, hold on. We got to wait. He gets the crab. All right. Blaber's 1-0. Moving on. So you get what? Okay, they're fighting the top lane. Fudge running back at the tower. You get a 1-second window of when you want to reactivate the dodge. Because the first second, no hit. And then between second 1 and second 2, it either auto fires or you press the button. Riposte lasts 0.75. So it's like, are you gonna stun me in the first quarter second? If you're not, I'm guaranteed for Riposte to work against your stun. So he's got to run away if he doesn't get to the first quarter. Like if he calls the bluff, he's got to run away or he gets stunned. And you just get the like fun mind game of like when's he gonna Riposte and running away, and it gets really neat.
Exactly, and he uses his teleport to get right back to lane. Ssumday does have the wave in a pretty good spot, but it'll slow push backwards. Meanwhile, Blaber looking mid.
That's gonna hurt him. Flash forced away. Abbedagge trading so aggressively and yet equal on the CS and the one down the summoner spell.
Yeah, and that's actually so big for Zilean, relieving the pressure here. It's these early levels that are by far the hardest part of the game for that Zilean. So coming here, getting the flash down on Abbedagge, that's going to force him to play defensive, and Blaber gets his second crabber.
It's a double crab. This is already over. We're going to game 3.
Fudge knows the game plan. He takes the shield off that crab, chases it right towards Blaber, feeds up his jungler. That's how you buy yourself a gank for your melee matchup.
Yeah, he's never coming top if you take that crab.
Oh, no.
See you next game, pal.
But he's stunned it freeze. You can save your smite. You know, it's pretty impressive stuff here, so feeling pretty good. Closer gets rid of Gromp on a ward, so full info known. Fudge knows how aggressively to play. Cloud9 know in their bot lane they're fine. Now, worth noting, though, they bought themselves an XP and a CS advantage, the one that 100 Thieves are paying back, but now down summoners is Cloud9 here. Ignite on a Berserker, decent damage.
Yeah, good trading back and forth there. Berserker, who does have the better buy, was able to afford a longsword. They push FBI back very early, so he just got that refillable. And it's another early ghost here used by Berserker, just happy to use it in these trades to try to get the advantage, get those additional autos out. And once lethal tempo is stacked, he wants to stay in on top. But it is Closer looking for a wraparound here onto Jensen.
There's no flashes there, but if there's any aggressive play, like if Wukong shows up, here we go, flash, gets the knockup into the stun, a lot of damage under the tower he goes. Jensen, alive 100 health.
Yeah, he wanted to save his flash there as you saw Jarvan coming out, but takes so much damage getting the full combo and then still flashing under tower. This is all about the timing pre-6. Gank that Zilean pre-6, maybe you can burst him down, no ultimate then, but if he's allowed to get the experience on this wave,
they're gonna try. Jensen's gonna nuke most of the wave. He will not get gold in the cannon, and now he's got Blaber behind him. There's no way he can down this tower anymore, but 100 HP is still quite low, and he has to drop aggro. Has to be careful, can't go the way he came. XP, though, still gained in most cases. I think he got most of the wave under mid.
Yeah, and thankfully for Jensen, he has TP, right? So he's going to TP right back in, and Blaber is here. Abbedagge could be in trouble.
Abbedagge couldn't ult the Zilean in time as he was recalling. I feel like, oh, he was 6 versus 5. You can, like, hard force that with Chrono Shift stolen, but not quite the timing for it. Jensen's indeed back in lane.
And look at all the vision they left behind, too. Like, this is a very powerful invade from 100 Thieves. Super, super deep vision here all through this jungle. Really trying to track Blaber, because as Wukong approaches that level 6, tremendous kill pressure, so much CC there as well. And as we said, Jensen here trying to soak his 6 in mid wave as well. Finally gets it, gets that extra safety.
again at mid. I mean, even huhi's out here as well, so a bit of a 3v2 close on the left-hand side. In case they retreat left, you can catch him with the Jarvan, but no kills. We know Chrono Shift is up with full health. He's always got the reactions to get that one in time. Yeah, don't take the hit. Clear it when you want.
Absolutely, but 100 Thieves, you know, trying to repay those visits back towards mid lane to really get Abbedagge in a winning position. This is the matchup that they had counterpick for. They want him playing aggressively. You know, Blaber was able to force out that first flash, but it's 100 Thieves who have been returning time and time again to try to push Abbedagge forward.
And if you look at the other matchup, the Jax matchup where Cloud9 had the counterpick, Ssumday is doing really well in this matchup. Fiora with the CS lead right now also has control so that he's able to move first. Crab has been taken for the vision there, 400 Thieves before this Rift Herald arrives. 30 seconds left on it.
And this is one where I expect Fiora to get ahead early. You know, I do think it's more of one of those kind of outscaling matchups. Fiora poking and prodding, especially now with the early Sheen, is going to be very difficult for Jax to deal with because you have no early sustain. But Fudge going in for the early Executioners just kind of needs to survive. And I feel like if you're similar strength at 2 items, you're going to be really taking over that.
And then minions here concentrate on the top side. Ulti pop now for Fiora. At what point do we see the dodge? Repose timing? Yep, just walks it out entirely. Fudge knows, hits where he ran away. He knew if he walks up, Ssumday gets a free stun. Now both junglers are up here. Blaber, I don't believe, spotted on his way up, but neither was Closer. Has the ulti, has the dunk. No play.
And now it's potentially this Herald start here, but both teams are aware of it, and Sylas did just TP back towards mid lane, so it will be a fight for it, and Ssumday is running out from base. Fudge did not actually back, so as long as they can delay this a little bit, it could be 100 Thieves favored, but you also see Cloud9's bot lane is cheating up towards mid.
Yeah, they commit the bottom lane first. Looks like 100 Thieves are going to have a little bit later of a call up for the Zeri bottom lane, but because the Herald leashed back, the health replenished, and they've got some extra time.
Anyways, W over the wall. Chrono Shift stolen for Abbedagge. Blaber slowly taking damage here. Red buff regen comes in for the knockup. Damage on a close. They can res it if needed. They'll go for it, and he gets the revive. Locks Jensen in. Zap in for Zeri. Polymorph, can they get the kill? First blood. 2 for 1 already at 100 Thieves.
That polymorph was so big from huhi. Jensen couldn't get off the chrono shift there. Goes down without using the ulti.
Just as it was about to expire, too. Perfect timing there, and Closer able to get the combo. Huge 400 Thieves.
And we can watch it one more time. It's the stolen ulti here from Abbedagge that's really making the difference. They go for the engage onto Closer, but knowing that he has the Zilean ulti in his back pocket, Closer just goes forward as they engage onto him, looking aggressively towards Jensen there. Abbedagge does get that ult off on him right as he dunks onto Jensen, and then watch here, over onto Jensen, they land this last second polymorph, and they just burst him down.
It lasts so long here. He's running away, but right into Ssumday, picks it up. Huge gold there. Flash away from Fudge as Yuumi jumps onto him. Does escape for both of them, though, so they mitigate some of the losses.
Yeah, even Closer going to knock him out afterwards. He was actually in the air when he died, so they still had a full second afterwards before he could even cast the button, so had to cast it early. Wasn't able to in time. Jensen unable to get the life-saving cast in the finals, in the arena.
And look at the FTX total gold there. Ssumday a good 1,000 ahead of Fudge now at this point. You know, he picked up a kill on that, was already up a good 20 CS, has about an even amount here to farm. So Ssumday in a really, really good position now in this matchup. It's going to have a much earlier Mythic, especially because Fudge did take that pit stop for heal cut.
Yeah, and Fudge, because he had to flash away at that Rift Herald fight, going to be very vulnerable. So we'll see if he gets any extra support as far as jungle presence, warding up here to allow him to continue to push this one in.
Still fighting pretty strong. Takes a good trade against Ssumday here, even though you could consider him down in items. I'd probably rather have the Warhammer than a longsword or a longsword upgrade, but realistically, playing it pretty well. 88-68 CS though. Ssumday certainly ahead in this lane as we see it push forward. No one's coming over to the lane, no tower dive, just an easy farm situation for Fudge.
Yeah, and 100 Thieves able to channel that into the Dragon start for themselves. Pick up where they tried to leave off last time around. Dragon #1, rotations should secure the Hex Drake, and Closer's going to be able to pick that one up as well.
And now it's just going to get so hard for Fudge because that's a completed Sunder, and Fudge is nowhere close to actually having his. He goes back to base, all he can afford is another longsword, so it's going to be a really long time before Fudge actually gets his Mythic. This means run of the map on the top side there for Ssumday. Their bot lane is pushing in. They take that dragon down there as well. 100 Thieves having a really good first 10 minutes here in game #2.
Looking very good on 100 Thieves side. Even though the double crab came through for Cloud9's jungler, it looks like there's more to the game than those objectives and 100 Thieves.
No.
I'm sorry, but it's just true, okay? In this case, there weren't a lot of ganks. It was top diff, Kobe. Hate to break it to you, but sometimes it's just how well you play the lane and how well you play the team fights afterwards. Ooh, Ssumday chooses a trade and a grass proc over the cannon. Still, though, crushing in this lane.
He's got so much healing as well with the grass, with the Divine Sunder, with those vitals. Able to constantly keep up this pressure. And some of the deep vision that they've got on the top side of the map helps him kind of abuse this matchup to the maximum, getting in there for the turret play, but the ward behind the red buff as well, trying to scout out on any sort of jungle pressure. They call closer over to really accelerate this too. I like this from the Thieves. You want to play off your strong side of the map where you're winning and bully this down. With the Rift Herald, you can finish off this tower, get even more money into this Fiora, create that huge, huge split push gap.
Exactly. It's going to be really, really difficult for Fudge from this point. Even more gold dumped into the Fiora. They're going to be able to finish this off no problem. Fiora, one of the fastest turret takers because you can use the Q plus the auto attack reset on the E on that tower to constantly get those Sheen procs onto it.
He even went Demolish. He knew, he's like, you pick Jackson to me, I'm going to be winning this lane, dog. You can pick something that actually helps you fight. Instead of Demolish, chose this one instead because he's like, I'm going to have pressure, and he has been. Knocks on the turret at 13 minutes into the game. Huge lead, 2,000 plus the first Drake. 100 Thieves are off to the races here.
And it starts to feel then like the hope for Cloud9 is Berserker, and that is a very good hope to have. Is still, the richest member on their side, 126 CS. Is slightly ahead, or just now even, I guess, with FBI. And is going to have that Zilean plus the Yuumi in his back pocket, so a tremendous amount of support will be there for Berserker to really succeed. He's going to have so much move speed in these fights.
And the team fights really depend on timing of these ultimates. It's so fun to watch team fights when there is a Zilean Sylas matchup and you get the stolen Zilean ultimate. So timings on these revives, trying to bait them out. Burst damage means so much, but as we see, Ssumday just leveraging that advantage. Before Fudge was able to get his recall for the back, now he's able to go back, should be able to even it up a bit.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to keep pushing. It's interesting because he could have just pulled the wave there, stacked it, and allowed it to deny a lot of that farm. He is now moving down towards mid lane, so he's going to try to deny at least some of it. I wanted to just thin out that wave a little bit, I guess, but Closer now in a scrap here with Blaber, who's going to have to run.
They run the knockup, there's going to be enough. The dunk comes across as well. Ulti buys a bit of time. He flashes safe. He's going to be followed up by Closer. And now for round 200, Jensen burns his stopwatch. Our reinforcements enough, though. Gets the self-ulti. A quick chrono shift stolen. And a flag of the wall will spot the movements. Q follow. Polymorph. He flashes and dies for nothing. Jensen loses every cooldown and still drops.
100 Thieves are crushing in game 2 here, catching out Blaber. Jensen tries to TP in and bail him out, but it's just giving over another kill there. It's now 3,000 ahead.
The Thieves are back. The Thieves are back in numbers here in game number 2, crushing it. And that was between the Dragon Timer window. So a bunch of extra gold feeding into Dragon number 2. They should be able to just bully Cloud9. Not even let them into the area.
And they're going to keep going. You know the 100 Thieves, when they are ahead, it's going to be pressure the whole way through. I want to see what's next up, because it's still Mythic difference to the top side. Ssumday was able to make top lane. As far as I can tell, slow push back to him. Says, great, I'll take this wave out of my turret and keep you out of golden experience. On the way to level 11. Second Herald is up. Closer already here for it. 45 for the second Drake.
I love this. They're taking everything with these timing windows here. First take the Herald. You've got Crab spawning up there as well before you can transition down to the other side. For Cloud9's angle, they have to think about whatever minds.
Yeah, a couple ults coming across though, but will it even be enough? FBI ults himself, and all right, back in the Crab. No big deal, we're fine here. It's going to be a smite difference. Should be an easy claim. And oh, he popped the eye. They let it reveal, and it was enough damage out of Berserker.
Eyeball hit beats smite every day of the week, Phreak. Oh my goodness. Proper positioning on Shelly is everything.
Exactly. 100 Thieves needed to be on the other side of it so that the eyeball would be to their side, but it is not. It will not be able to be picked up by Cloud9, so still, you do get the gold and the experience, and you deny it from 100 Thieves.
Berserker trying to take things into his own hands here. Blaber over the wall.
Hard engage. His FBI already dead. Cloud9 want back in. Will it happen, though? Blaber should have the save revive. He jumps in. Yuumi on the wings.
Gonna time out soon?
Yeah, they're gonna try to time it out. Abbedagge wants to kill him back, but the heals are back in. Dives in for more. Huhi kills off Jensen. Is the re-engage enough though? As Ssumday is low, he flashes, but he still drops. And Cloud9 are fighting back. Abbedagge falls as well. His namesake was a death cry, and he is dropped.
And it's Blaber and Zven over the wall of the red buff. They take this game right back for Cloud9. They even up the dragons, and they almost even up the gold.
That pick on the FBI really set the tone for the fight, knocking down that carry immediately. Men under Thieves just didn't have enough left in the tank to actually win out.
Oh, that positioning. The wards all over this side of the jungle too, just scattered with Cloud9 vision there, taking their opportunity, striking back.
Flip the switch replay.
Exactly, it's this pick over the wall here as FBI walks up. They jump in, FBI already very low. They're able to land the Q, E over the wall. They have all the damage landing. They burst him right down, and Berserker and Jensen are coming in from the side, so they continue the fight knowing they have the strength of the Zilean ulti.
Exactly, and then when you see them come down, everybody stops damage on Blaber. They want to time it out. Closer tries to heal up off the Raptors. Ssumday thinks that they can just focus down Jensen and take over the team fight, but here is the turnaround in the back lines. There's no riposte left for that Fiora. Instantly gets focused down, flashes in the aftermath as well, and the damage of the Sivir cannot be avoided. Fudge is the one to push it forward. Counter-strike there, allowing them to chase.
And Cloud9 just doing such a good job actually creating space there for Berserker. But look at the damage from Blaber.
Woo!
Starting that fight off, and now Closer in trouble again.
Closer can EQ over the wall even while rooted, but we're going to wait for the fight to start for the first place. Closer gets the dunk, but there's not enough going on. Already down for one. Over the walls, FBI stays alive, but the fight itself is what matters. Fudge gets revived. Health bar's low, and a quick one comes out as well, but Abbedagge no longer has any safety left. Ssumday jumps, but will Ssumday live? No, he won't. And now Huhi, left alone, gets the slow, but Blaber is on the chase again and bats him down.
Cloud9 are taking over! From down 3K, they win back-to-back team fights here. Their team fighting unmatched here against 100 Thieves. They are crushing it, and Berserker all of a sudden 3-0-3. This man is gonna be a problem.
Berserker in his rookie year here for Cloud9. He steals the Rift Herald with the eyeball, carries a lot of these team fights. Here's another look at the opening to this because we missed the engage from Cloud9. It is Blaber, another W forward with the Yuumi on him. Gets the ultimate immediately and then focus down Closer.
Exactly, and then look at Ssumday. He's trying to actually zone out the Zilean here to keep him away from reviving Fudge. But as he tries to collapse back, he realizes his team is losing on that side of the fight. It allows Jensen time to actually get over there, dropping the bombs over the wall, and even getting the revive on Fudge.
Exactly, perfect timing on that Zilean. And then Blaber, he was just as low. He sneaks away. He doesn't get the Zilean ult, but he gets the Yuumi heals here. The scaling of both Yuumi and Zilean is just so massive. These support characters are doing so much for Cloud9.
And you just can't get anything else done here. The revives come in, your damage not high enough yet.
Here we go again.
Fast enough. We go again in the mid lane. Every fight a banger, and this one is a polymorph. FBI still gonna drop, and Cloud9 go for more. Blaber's in for a double. A revive means nothing comes back, and Abbedagge knows he's left alone. He knows he will fall, and Fudge takes a bite.
And Baron's up this time, baby. 20 minutes on the dot. Cloud9, another engage. Once they get started, they don't stop.
Man, when you lose a fight over by Baron at 20 minutes, it is heartbreaking. You know what's coming. Jensen there trying to hunt around for Closer. They spot him now. They can't let him in the pit.
Fudge says hello. Closer dives in, and it's not going to be close enough.
Berserker says goodbye and sends him back to the fountain.
It's skeet shooting for Berserker, knocking Closer out of the sky there. Cloud9, full control. This game has completely flipped on its head. It was not long ago they were down 3K. 21 minutes in, they are now up 5,000 gold.
Before the weekend, Closer said we need another one. A single win is basically a fluke. We want to cement ourselves as a dynasty, but, well, this is an age that has gone very shortly. 100 Thieves tried the engage, and it's not good enough.
Blaber says, I see the angle. He always sees an angle. He goes for it again, immediately onto FBI. The Zeri in the backline. And when you have the Yuumi attached right here, the ultimate coming through, no one can get away.
And those Cloud9 members have talked about having that trust in Blaber because he sees these opportunities to go for the fight, and they know if they follow him, if they trust in his engage, that it's gonna mean good things for Cloud9. And here we go again.
More good things. A jump away for close, the knockup not quite landed. Huhi buys a bit of space. Blaber doesn't even take damage anymore. Nothing on other Thieves can even hurt him.
They said they live or die by Blaber. It looks like in finals, it's gonna be live. Cloud9 with the Baron buff, 4-1 split push here. You see Fudge on the minimap taking care of the outer turret in mid lane, while Berserker's gonna wrap it up bottom.
I mean, he's the kill leader on the team. 100 Thieves die by Blaber in this title so far. The title shot here, look at a 2-0 lead in the series. 22 minutes in, the Red Bull Baron power play, 4,300 gold. The third Drake's up, but they want inhibitor turrets first.
This game is just completely out of control now. 100 Thieves gonna force.
Engage on a Berserker, will it be enough? Yuumi opens up and already, Closer is dead. Not a scratch on him. Stun comes across, he might self-res, but does that even matter? Fudge inside the base, double bombs land, and Fudge now on a rampage. Cloud9 now on a roll, diving in for more, under the Nexus turrets. Who cares if he dies? Fudge is good for a triple.
It's Cloud9's world. We're just living in it. They are crushing 100 Thieves here in game number 2. They're pushing in and looking to take a second inhibitor here 23 minutes in. It's a slaughter.
And they're having fun with it. Which one of these players' names is Berserker, by the way? They're all Berserkers on Cloud9, feeling the bloodlust here.
And Ben's there every step of the way, man. He's there, 1-0-16, every single kill that they've gotten. He's been there for the ride, like, I got the blood in my eyes. Everyone the pet cat knows they are eyeing you as their prey, like, yeah, get him.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff from him. 100% kill participation from the Yuumi. Magnificent positioning, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was beautiful. How he pressed it, E.
Hop right on.
Yeah.
I wanna be like Blaber. Me too. Me too. Definitely jungle goals there.
I hate to see it happen. Pan away. Nothing to see here.
Yep. There is a lot you can try to do with this one. Ulti's trade into the durability, but here comes a jungler, and Fudge gets number 7. In for a bit more now, a fight in the top river. Is there enough damage is the question. The knockup is in, but it's a revive already. FBI dies again. Closer dies again. Cloud9 see anyone, and they just see food. Huhi gonna be good for the triple kill for Blaber.
These are the least scary cataclysms I've ever seen. You're not trapped in there with him. Oh my goodness, that's gonna be Cloud9. Nexus turrets, they don't stand a chance.
Game 1 was a stop, game 2 was somehow a comeback, but they won even faster. Chicago belongs to Cloud9. 2-0 to the start of the series.
And look at Fudge, man. He was feeling it after that one. Cloud9 were down big early in this second game, but came roaring back through the team fight. So much credit, I think, deserved by Blaber in this one. Him and Zven pairing up to find that initial pick onto FBI that really feels like it changed the entire game. They win that team fight, then they find another, they win that team fight. And Cloud9 just continued to pick fight after fight after fight and dominate.
Yeah, let me remind you that 100 Thieves actually got a magnificent lead in this game, over 2,000 gold in the early game, but it was a bad omen when that Rift Herald auto attack went down. Berserker started it all, gets the eyeball auto there, takes the Rift Herald, and then back-to-back plays from Cloud9. We're coming out of a replay into another play, instantly going for another engage.
Yeah, I mean, so aggressive. It was fun to see. I am glad, though, that Berserker has acclimated to Cloud9 so well, because to me, part of the story of this team is, I mean, this team was assembled mid-flight, right? Support left after the last split, top lane left after the last split, Fudge goes back to top lane, they bring Jensen out of retirement, but like, in one unit again, the Berserker's like, Blaber, I know you want this crab, buddy, for you! And he claims the eye. And Cloud9 after a 2-0 start, it's beautiful to see the camaraderie already in just 10 weeks. Now Cloud9 have already brought us to match point in under an hour of gameplay, and we are heading over to the State Farm Analyst desk.
Thank you so much, Phreak. Cloud9 came to play today. 2-0 stands at the series score as we welcome Vulcan onto the desk to help us make sense of the kind of firepower that Cloud9 has come out with. What do you make of the fact that we're already staring down a possible 3-0?
That was crazy, especially after seeing how the game 2 started. I felt like on the teams had it in the bag. The Sylas was making so many good plays, and I thought they were just going to keep snowballing. And then C9 just out of nowhere decided that they were done with this game, and they just won like 4 fights inside 5 minutes. And then the game was completely out of control from other teams. And that was crazy.
Every once in a while, I decide a game of mine is over, but it's usually going the other,
The opposite side,
way.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Guys, let's move on to the next.
It's funny because we have Whipple on, and I was like, do you want to see the draft change or the play?
Yeah.
They changed the draft. They went completely melee topside, and Vulcan and I were talking, and I was like, when you look at 100 Thieves, is this the comp you see like with them? And absolutely not.
That looked like 2018 IG. That didn't look like Rookie and the Shy didn't show up to the game, though.
There's different people on the keyboard.
And that's the change that 100 Thieves have gone through, at least we've seen from the last series. So the Fiora comes back as a blind. And I was wondering when they were hovering through a few picks on the Jax, I was like, okay, LPL, we've seen Jax counter into the Fiora. They lock it in there. And it was nice to see from Cloud9.
Yeah, and so while we did have definitely the back half of the draft, incredibly interesting, we still landed on that very classically meta bot lane of, the Zeri and the Lulu versus the Yuumi and the Sivir and Vulcan. We pulled the very early lane phase to get your perspective on ultimately how this matchup kind of played out. While it's one we've seen a lot, I think it's one that we can always use a little bit more insight on.
Yeah, so after I woke up, because I fell asleep after seeing the champs locked in, right?
Right.
The Zeri Lulu usually have the power to just fight very, they're so strong. And Lulu unfortunately missed her Q on Sivir, and Sivir gets a chance to just run them. Sivir is able to use passive, use move speed. She got the ghost in, and she can just run you down. The only thing she can do is auto you, and if you don't give her a chance with Lulu Q, because you can just kite her out with the slow, and Zeri outranges the Sivir, you can just always space her out. But they gave them this little window, and Berserker is the kind of player that if you give him an inch, you'll take an arm. And here you can see that you took an extremely good trade, and they're able to get the push and get control for the next round.
You used to lane with this guy. Did you teach him everything he knows?
Oh, Yuumi? Oh, yeah. Everything that he does right here. You can, if you're a Cloud9 fan, you got to come to me and thank me personally, because that was me.
Only a good support because he laned with Vulcan. There you go.
Exactly. The cat came out. The cat delivered, I guess, in the end.
That kind of reminded me of the last time C9 versus 100 Thieves happened in the upper bracket, just because it was like Lucian Nami versus the Zeri, and even though it was looking oh my god, he's dancing on him. I didn't even notice that.
I taught him that too.
But yeah, you're right about Berserker.
That's gross laning right there. That is gross laning that they were forced to back that early on.
Yes. And it's actually insane. This is what Berserker and Zven can give you. The fact that even in losing matchups, or like I was talking about that last reference, they just won out, because if Berserker sees that one instance, the instinct to be able to find and push through works really well for them.
And these are some of those team fights that we were talking about where it looked good for 100 Thieves at the very, very beginning of it. I think this is the Rift Herald fight that they end up getting ahead. They're able to get the nice polymorph onto Jensen, and they kill him right before he comes up and gets his own res off. So they get a 2-for-1. I think they grabbed the Rift Herald on the tail end of this, and it felt like, okay, they have these really crazy matchups. Ssumday, I think, ended up around 1,300 gold on the tail end of that, and seemed like he had control of that topside matchup.
These fights are so chaotic because of things like the Zilean ult and the fact that you have a Sylas on the other side. Vulcan, help us understand what it's like to be playing in an environment like this when the draft warps the way the fight will play out so much with big ultimates like that.
I think the biggest thing for our teams is that they shouldn't be putting themselves in these situations, because they're playing Fiora, they're playing the Sylas, they're much better chance at controlling side lane, and I felt like they just opted into those fights, playing as a Zilean. He just loves playing against the Fiora, playing as a Silence, going on him, and then he can get an easy ult target, and he's just able to play super calm and super easy for him. And I think Honor Thieves still be kicking themselves they didn't play better, because they were in such a good spot, and they just gave C9 the best way back into the game.
Yeah, this example was perfect for it, because Sylas was topside. He had to TP in because J4 gets opened up on. Zeri actually takes Blast Cone into the pit, and J4 is already dead by the time Sylas has actually entered the fight. So that was one really poor fight, and then it started to snowball from there.
Mark, this is also a game that's so odd. As we were arriving back to the desk, I turned and looked to you, and I went, they were just on the Nexus turrets, and the top lane tier 1 is still up. Like, what is going on?
What Vulcan said sums up. They'll take your arm off if you give him an inch. And yeah, you lose one fight, Baron's gone. We were late to the desk for after game 1. This time we're like, we're going to leave early. and we're going to be on time. And even then, the game was over a second after we got onto the desk.
Yeah, one of the fastest Baron takes of the year, by the way, picked up by Cloud9 in that one. Now, the best of North America have come to Chicago as we determine
That man's
once
actually
and for
counted.
all the top team in the LCS. Now, when it comes to food delivery, we already know Grubhub wears the crown. Get 50% off on orders of 10 count traditional and boneless wings from Buffalo Wild Wings on orders of $25 through September 14th. But it was that man on your screens there playing the cat, delivering the win for the squad and the Grubhub dub. This was the turning moment of the game. So many players on slivers of health, Mark, here.
Yeah, this was the fight where we thought 100 Thieves had the lead. The fact that Blaber gets over the wall, they get the one shot immediately onto the Zeri, and then the critical thing was we thought 100 Thieves have managed to kite out the Blaber ultimate with Zilean on top of him, but there's so much innate healing in the Wukong kit that even though the Zilean ult times out, the Yuumi healing is able to allow Blaber to get out and baits the rest of 100 Thieves in too far.
Yeah, I mean, Ssumday was so confident there. He was even pushing forward to see how many more kills they can get there. Gets stunned, flashes late, of course, because he didn't expect to be blown up that quickly. And so this is when you were like, oh God, I can't believe they're losing this game from this point.
It's just an absolutely gross fight, gross fight. So let's start talking about how you come back from that. 2-0 Vulcan. If you're in 100 Thieves' shoes, they're electing to stay on blue side. Maybe let's start with draft, then we can get into play, because Mark had similar questions for Blippo about what do you change and what part of your strategy do you target, the draft or the play itself?
To me, 100 Thieves needs to draft something that'll be stronger in the 5v5. I think they just went way too far off their comfort. And I think at least like when you're down to 0-2, in some series it feels like you're just getting shut out completely and there's not much you can do. But 100 Thieves can at least look back to this game and know that they were able to build a lead. They were able to win a few fights, and there's hope that they can convert those games into wins. They just need to, they just need to draft better champs for themselves, and I think they can do it.
And I agree with him, the idea that at least 100 Thieves should be confident with how the early game was going. I don't know if the draft fixed that, because in game one, they had a typical confident 100 Thieves draft, scale late. They took a fight for third Drake when I felt like they should have just given it up. Their carries weren't in a comfortable position. They didn't have the items necessary. They wanted to play a little further back. And then they took that fight, lost. Game two, it was just a really bad skirmish that took them down. I just feel like the play right now is really what's hindering them. I need just kind of looking back at those moments and playing a little better.
What about when it comes to the side of Cloud9 and maybe something that 100 Thieves can target? Because they do kind of see, I mean, Vulcan mentioned that they were at least able to build an early lead against 100 Thieves, but each of the individuals on Cloud9 right now, Mark, looks to be playing near their top level.
I mean, that's the tough thing about them is they have so many pocket picks that they're willing to bust out at any moment. The Zilean, the Jax, they have that depth that makes it very hard to know exactly, like, this one thing. That's not that their drafts hinge on a single pick, so you can't just get rid of a single champion.
Now, Vulcan, we're no stranger to reverse sweeps here in the LCS, and so I'm just kind of curious from your position, with 2 games in, 2 games of evidence, how are you feeling about this series? Are they going to give us more, or is Cloud9 walking away with it in 3-0 fashion?
I think I'm getting out of the building in 30 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up in 15.
Everyone back to the ring.
You guys get ready to leave, guys. Don't go get food.
Oh my goodness. All right. It would be the only shutout of the entire 2022 summer postseason if it does hold true. We'll see if 100 Thieves can strike back in game number 3. Now, losing LCS bets has forced Raz over here to adapt to eating spicier foods. Let's see if he was able to handle the meal Emily had delivered by Grubhub in this edition of Dine With Us as we head to break.
The answer is no. What's up, Emily?
How's it going?
What is your go-to meal on a show day?
So I have kalguksu. It basically is a noodle soup, and then the spicy seafood one has a bunch of different seafood in it and like the red pepper paste to make it spicier.
So what I have for you is a cheesy hash.
Nice.
Good amount of cheese, a lot amount of hash browns, and a nice assortment of vegetables around it, so I know you'll like it.
What did you think?
See, I loved it. I feel like next time I try it, we're adding the spice.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's go.
I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready for the next step.
I have faith in you. I believe in you.
Okay. How much for a collector's edition squishy pig with holographic cover art? I'm trying to save some cash.
You don't have to sell that. State Farm has rates that fit your budget.
Don't even look at my squish. Don't even look at it!
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.
Oh, no! That was not even fair.
if respawning was refreshing. Here's to the round between rounds.
This game is rigged. This game is out to get me.
Red Bull gives you wings.